I love our choir. Thank you. No matter what I do, we're going to leave here happy. I always thought that if you have good music, you got it made. Yeah. Anyway, today we're celebrating the October themes, and I'm going to remember all three of them. It's spiritual evolution, it's awakening, and it's our personal responsibility. What I love about it is what we deal with is my favorite 10 words, the most powerful words in the English language. If it is to be, it's up to me. Let's say that. If it is to be, it's up to me. And so today, I put in mind, I need a profound metaphor. And I put that in mind, and what came forth was this. Many years ago, Abraham Lincoln made this statement. He said, if a person wants milk, he should not sit on a stool in the middle of a field and wait for the cows to back up into it. Now, my goodness. Because did you ever do that? You go into Source Energy and say, give me some advice. So I did that in meditation. It was Thursday, by the way. And this came up. What the heck does that have to do with spiritual evolution? So I got to thinking about it. And what came to mind was this idea, and these ads that come. You ever see the milk ads? Where the guy with the mustache, you have a milk mustache. And then this guy comes on and says, and this is from the milk industry, that milk is a power nutriment that will make you powerful, that will make you strong, that will, from birth, you're going to have a healthy, an abundant life if you just drink milk. And I got to thinking about that. I said, and then what I had was an aha moment saying, my gosh, maybe Spirit knows what it's doing after all. And I thought, what is that? I said, what is if milk's a nutrient that helps us become stronger, what would be the nutrient as I become older and an adult that would help me experience the same stuff? Help me be powerful, help me be strong and healthy and prosperous. What is the nutrient that we need to discover? That's what this month's about. It's a development of a conscious evolution. It's the evolution of our consciousness. It's the idea of all this has to do with, if I really want to have those things that do these nutriments if I want to be healthy and I want to have a good experience, I want to enjoy my life experience, I want to be abundant, then what do I need to do? And the first thing that I need to do, because if I'm sitting on that stool, and I decided, what am I going to use for stool? And I came up with this morning. It was kind of cool while I was sitting here listening to the choir. I need to get my rear end off the stool of limited thinking. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I did it. Yeah. He goes, I need to get off the stool of limited thinking. And when I do that, then if I want to experience a life that's really wholesome and joyful, that's what I'm here for anyway, then I need to do that, number one. And the most important thing is that I need to realize that I'm a lot more than just skin and bones. And so what this whole month is about, I think, it's about completionness. That might be a new word, I don't know. But you heard it here for the first time. It's about completeness. A completeness. And what does this mean? Well, it means that what are all the ingredients, what are all the necessary elements that come together that produce this entity called Angelo. What makes Angelo complete? And so what's kind of interesting about all that, this month is about being complete. What completes Angelo? And what's kind of interesting about that is, if I'm facing a day that has some challenges, and I bring into my experience fear and doubt, and I start worrying about things, am I experiencing the consciousness of completeness? If I'm looking at someone who's mad at me and he's in my face and I answer back and I put that guy down rather than rising up to a higher level of awareness, am I experiencing the consciousness of being complete? It's kind of interesting. Science and many doctors tell us that if we live in fear and doubt, it affects us biologically. And there's some research that shows this, that people who spend their days in fear and doubt, they eat more, they drink more, and I think booze more than water. They eat more, they drink more, but they have a tendency to experience more accidents. That they tend to be sick more. And some of them have heart attacks. So this idea of completeness is very important to each one of us. We need to do that. And the other thing we do when it comes to completeness, we need to take a look at what, if I'm into that area of depression and all. The Newsweek came out one day and said this. They said the vast majority, millions of people live their day in a consciousness of helplessness and fear. Fear of some unknown thing that could happen in the future that's not really defined, but fearful of something that might happen in a moment's notice without warning. And so the Newsweek article said, a lot of people are living in fear. So if we're looking at this conscious evolution, this spiritual evolution, we need to take a look at what's going on around us. And what's kind of wonderful is this, when I get stuck, and I do that, when I get stuck, I need to realize this, that there's something within Angelo that's superior to anything that I'm facing. And all I need to do is open myself up to it. Because when I'm in fear and doubt, I block that part of who I am, my completeness. I block it and I can't be 100% in the moment. So what I need to do is transcend that and realize that. And so if we're up against something, and believe me, this stuff works. I've experienced this over the last many years, my whole 39 years of existence. But I can tell you this, that it does work. And so what we need to do is realize that we are a walking dynamo. That we are this, basically unlimited, boundaryless, spiritual being here on planet Earth to enjoy our trip and to prosper and show our magnificence. So this idea of evolution, I don't think, is a choice. Think about it. We're going to evolve whether we want to participate or not. We want to sit on that stool and just let the cows come to us, back up to us, or we can do something about it and figure out where are we with this. But I believe personally that evolution is not a choice. We're going to evolve. And there's some belief system that says, Angelo, you can either decide to do it during this plane of existence, or you're going to be coming back and trying again until you finally get it. But we here at PLC, we don't want to experience it in some future time. We want to experience it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so what's kind of neat is this power that we have within is just amazing. I use it almost on a daily basis now. And the bottom line is this, that we are that powerful spiritual entity. And that the universe itself, there's a desire for us to evolve, to spiritually evolve and get it. To spiritually evolve so that we can show our magnificence every time we face some kind of a challenge. And so to go on with this, what's kind of neat is this idea of who we are, this force within ourselves. We'll talk about that later again. This force within ourselves, it moves in dynamic ways, and it really has no boundaries. And we see this happening a lot. And there's thousands of instances where superhuman efforts have transpired, where people could pick up a vehicle or do some amazing things. So it defies gravity. It defies anything that's in the physical realm. And we have access to it. That's who we are. And just a case in point, last year we had a man named Dr. John Shield, and Jenny knows this, she was at the meeting, because we had a meeting of our Emerson administration, and he was here to evaluate Emerson Institute. And because we have to go through this psych review. And we went through all of the dynamics of it, the budget and the different forms, the curriculum. And we got to thinking, my ego always takes over. And we were discussing how beautiful our classes are, how we make a difference in this universe, how we help people transcend the dynamics of the physical world and blossom and evolve. And then he said, I have a story to tell you that really does, that works. And I don't know if you remember this, Jenny, but he he said, I have a relative that got caught up in a tornado. Remember that, Jenny? That got caught up in the tornado. And just this belief that there's a power within her saved her and her son. And I got to think, I said, my gosh, I know that story. I know that story. And so what I did it a couple days ago. I said, I'm going to find that story. And I don't know if it's the same story, but I'm finding I did. I located it. And it's kind of interesting. Kim and her son, Evan, 4-year-old son, they were in a place called New Jerusalem, Indiana. I don't know if you've ever been to New Jerusalem. I've never been there. But there's a place called that. And they were in this market, in this home place where they were selling goods for the home care. And the PA comes on and it says this. It says, listen, shoppers, please take care of your business now and pay. We've got to evacuate. We've got to move out right away. We just got to notice that there's a terrible thunderstorm ready to hit us. Wow. So what she did, she grabs Evan, pays her bill, and she goes out to her minivan. And turns on the radio, and the radio said, a tornado is about ready to touch down. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been in a place like that. And he said, and she looked around, and it was as dark, pitch dark around. And she said, oh my gosh, where should I go? Well, she said, my church. She thought my church is nearby, just a couple, 3 blocks away. It's the Church of the Nazarene. I'm going to go over to my church. And anyway, so she gets on the phone and tells Mark, her husband, what's going to happen. And she gets into the parking lot, and all of a sudden, the tornado hit her car. Interesting. She didn't see it. She didn't hear it. But she felt it. All of a sudden, the van was being raised up off the ground. And she thought, oh my gosh. She looked back where her son Evan was strapped in, and he was frightful. And she said, and here's the neat thing about this whole idea of evolution, spiritual evolution. What she did, she was a very traditional Christian, and she believed that God was always there for her. So what she did not go into fear. It was amazing. She went into the belief that she was taken care of. So she looks back at Evan and she says, don't worry, we're taken care of. Everything's cool. And Evan said, will you tell Jesus to turn off the tornado? and anyway, she's up in the air. Now, you might think this is nonsense. It isn't. I've got the article. I can show you the news article. But anyway, so she's up in the air and she's looking down and she's in the prayer and she's seeing the houses below being ripped apart. Her good friend, she's floating right past the windows of her good friend, and her good friend's in her house trying to seek shelter. And she looks out and she sees Kim. Her good friend's name was Candace. She sees Kim 50 feet in the air above the power lines. It was just like this. And so she said, we'll continue to pray. We're going to be fine. What she did was do what we're talking about today when we're talking about evolution. Spiritual evolution. Because what this dynamic power, and we're going to talk about the force within us. Steve likes the word force, and I love it. And he says, this force within us, it doesn't necessarily respond to our prayers, our talks, and all that. It responds to how we feel. She felt peaceful. She felt at ease, and it was responding. And she said and she started saying the Lord's Prayer. And she said the Lord's Prayer. And every time, when she got to that place, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven," her car started dipping down like this, and finally it landed softly. And the only thing wrong that happened was it blew out the window of the back window, and they were safe. Now you might think, well,